that we're all here today. Obviously, the legendary John Sinclair. So we will definitely have a focus there. There's no question, and that would be appropriate. We're still going to give tribute to everybody who deserves it, and we're going to have otherwise a regular hash bash. There's people here who are in decision-making capacity or looking at laws and policies. There are advocacy groups working on projects, and every one of those people who we're giving tribute to passed away fully expecting us to continue doing this work. And this is a good place to know what's going on and to be inspired by them today. So with that, let's all have a great hash bash. And as has become tradition, we have as has become tradition, you know, Ann Arbor's own prodigal son, world-renowned artist, the great Laith Al-Sadi, kicks us off with the national anthem. So let's welcome him. Everybody, Laith Al-Sadi.
So small. And now it's my blocker.
John Sinclair, in the step for breathing air. Won't you care for John Sinclair in the step for breathing air? Let him be, set him free, breathing air like you and me. Gave him 10 for 2. What else can Judge Columba do? Set him free. If he was a soldier man, killing innocent Palestinians, if he was CIA, making dope and making hay, they let him be, they set him free, breathing air like you and me. They gave him 10 for 2. What else can Judge Columba do? The God to 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 set him free. Was he jailed for what he done, or representing everyone? Free John now, lift the lid, return him to his wife and kids. Let him breathe, let him be, breathing air like you and me. They gave him 10 for 2. That's all the motherfuckers do. They got to God 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 to set him free. Brother John Sinclair, may you rest in peace, and may you truly be free of pain, and may the reed truly be free where you are, not overregulated and taxed and having a bunch of people come up and tell you how proud they are they freed one drug and still believe prohibition works for every other drug. You're going to hear people talk today that are still people putting people in cages for what they put in their bodies. And they're the same people that fight for bodily autonomy and other things, but not what you can put in your body. makes no sense to me. And the war's not over. A small battle has been won, but we've lost a lot of people that have devoted a lot of their lives to trying to fight this thing we call the war on drugs. That even Richard Nixon's chief of staff, John Ehrlichman, on his deathbed said the war on drugs was never about controlling drugs. It was about controlling people. We couldn't arrest the protesters, so we used weed to get the protesters, and we couldn't arrest black people for being black, so they flooded New York with dope to make people slaves. And these are the people that still are running our drug policy after years and years of failure after failure and life after life ruined. So please, please don't think this is a celebration. This is still a protest. Peace and love, y'all.
All right. Lath will be at the Winewood Organics tomorrow doing an appearance about 3 o'clock and kind of continuing this tribute for John there. So check him out there. Let's hear it again for Lath Al-Sadi. All right, coming up to kick off the speakers here. The guy that ran this show for a couple of decades, who took on a lot of challenges, who actually brought John Sinclair back into the fold years ago. He's more than earned his nickname, so let's hear it for Mr. Hash Bash, Adam Brook.
Hey, Hash Bash, how you doing? Listen, you're gonna hear a lot of stuff from a lot of people today, so I'm not gonna waste my time with that. Here's what I wanna know. How many of you got dope on you right now? Here's a more important question. How many of you actually still have a medical marijuana card? Understand that that's the only paid vote that we're allowed. You go get that medical card, and those legislators see that there's more of us. We can't hand them any money, that's against the law. But we can all go get medical cards, and they can't stop us. And the more of us that they see that need it, the more they're willing to work with us, so it's easier for us to get. Man, I'm sorry. That was the first time I ever cried during that song. We brought John out here years ago because at the time he was an award-winning DJ down in New Orleans, and we knew that this event was based on his hard work and the time he spent in prison. So it meant a lot to us to get him back involved in the weed game. I had no idea that John Sinclair was a blues poet. And so here's the deal, folks. They referred to Lath Al-Sadi as the Ann Arbor's prodigal son. Someone once named me Mr. Hash Bash. I didn't care for that. I was Adam L. Brook, and I helped put on the Hash Bash. I've learned to accept that I'm Mr. Hash Bash. But I put this event on long enough that I'm also going to claim to be its prodigal son. I don't care who likes it. But what's important about this event is that you take the knowledge you pick up here back home to your friends and family, and you educate them. And you smoke a lot of weed. That's important. If y'all get the chance, I'd suggest you pick a copy up somewhere. It's called It's All Good. It's a John Sinclair reader. And in John's memory, I'm going to deliver this poem that he wrote. I did it a couple years ago when he was ill in the hospital. And it's something that he used to do a lot. John Sinclair got thrown out of the Detroit boat club, yacht club, I don't know. We were doing a gig there, and he started doing this poem, and the lady walked up to him and took the microphone away from him. So I figured you'd all appreciate it. It's called Ain't Nobody's Business. John wrote it for his buddy Henry Normile, Bradley Jones, and Bob Righteous Redneck. We have a right to our bad habits. If we want to blow our minds or fuck up our lives, shoot dope or smoke cocaine, if we want to eat too much meat, sit around all day and watch TV, stay up all night listening to music by Charlie Parker and Screamin' Jay Hawkins, if we want to walk around naked, fuck our eyes out, eat some pussy, or suck a cock, take it up the ass, get our nuts off 700 times a day, lay around and drink whiskey, bet on games, shoot dice, sell some pussy on the street, if we want to gamble in casinos or spend our money in a whorehouse, give the president a blowjob in his big chair in the White House, walk around the streets with all our belongings in little bags. That was a John move, I always liked that. Sleep in doorways, piss in the gutter. If we want to sleep away the day, never answer the telephone, take every meal in restaurants and bars and never exercise. And if it comes to the end of the line for us, we have every right to blow our motherfucking brains out, or jump off a bridge, or take ourselves away from here any way we might want to. Then baby, please, we got a right to our bad habits, and it ain't nobody's business if we do. I appreciate that because John and I worked together for years, and when I lost my father, he became a father to me. So I suggest y'all learn a little bit about him, because what you think you know is a very small part of his life. And the coolest part is what he actually did and who he did it with and what it created and how it created. And most of that happened in Ann Arbor. They chased him out of Detroit, so he came to Ann Arbor. And I have the honor to introduce our next speaker. And John couldn't have done it by himself back then. There was a minister of this and a minister of that, but I know who really kept it all together. So it's my great honor to introduce one of the best photographers I've ever seen. I suggest you get her book, but she photographed the history that created John Sinclair. So with great pleasure, I'd like to introduce Lenny Sinclair.
He's here in spirit. Every one of you here is part of it. In January, I read in the newspaper to nominate people for Michigander of the Year. And I said, why not nominate John Sinclair? And I wrote this. My name is Lenny Sinclair, and I would like to nominate my ex-husband, John Sinclair, as the Michiganian of the Year. I, myself, escaped from communist Germany in 1959 and ended up in Detroit. When I met John Sinclair in 1964, he was already fighting against the most draconian law ever imposed on law-abiding Americans, totally based on junk science. That spirit of fighting against injustice attracted me to him in the first place. Now, after I met John Sinclair and we got together, he invited me to move in with him in the castle in Detroit. And so we lived together, and John was on probation for his first offense. And one night, his probation officer came to us and said, John, the police is trying to bust you again. And John was flabbergasted and said, what for? I didn't do anything wrong. And he said, illegal cohabitation. That was against the law. And for anybody who followed that law, it was illegal for people of opposite sex to live together without being married. So what did we do? We got married. We produced two beautiful children. Sonny Marion Sinclair, whom I meet you, and Celia Sinclair. And we got a lot of problems in Detroit, and one night our house got firebombed and set on fire, and we had to practically move away overnight. And so we rented a house on Hill Street in Ann Arbor. And the first night after we moved to Ann Arbor, the conservatives of Ann Arbor had a night vigil march, a candlelight vigil, and they were carrying signs saying, sin like in Sinclair. We were sinners to them because we smoked weed. And now, oh, you sinners turned into saints. I'm thinking of why John Sinclair was supposed. I nominated him as Michigan of the Year is because of what he started has an immense economic impact on the economy of Michigan. And should there be any students of statistics here, somebody can figure out just how much money John saved the state of Michigan by overturning the law in 1972. Before the law was overturned, it was 10 years for possession and 20 to life for giving a joint away. And John was charged with giving a joint, two joints to an undercover agent, and it resulted in 10 years. And, if you can figure out, if the law had not been changed, the state of Michigan would have been housing prisoners for 20 years to life, and we all would have to pay taxes to keep the people in jail. That's like millions of dollars the state didn't have to pay for incarcerating these people because it was only 1 year, not 10, you see. And then that law stayed on the books until became medical finally. And so a whole legal industry is now happening in Michigan. Thousands of people get jobs that are legal and they can do, and anyway, it's just enormous what John Sinclair started, and we got to, appreciate that. But I'm also thinking of what America did to people like us, by lying to us for the last 70 years or 80 years that marijuana was a dope and suppressed it, and think in the last 70 years how that law has been used to suppress people, to destroy families, to cause thousands of broken marriages and cause broken homes. That has to stop now, and it is stopping now. And I'm talking too much. I'm not a talker. When we were the White Panther Party, John named all the ministers, propaganda. He named me as Minister of Education. Now, the party done left, but I'm still educating people. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So I just want to tell people to thank the people who worked with us. We had a commune on Hill Street. Up to 28 people lived there, and they all worked for 2.5 years in sacrificing their own life and worked for no money to get John out of jail. I want to tribute to everybody who suffered and contributed to John's freedom, and I want to just, that's it. What else I said is, in 1972, John Sinclair won the case in the United States Supreme Court against illegal wiretapping. I just want to mention one other thing. John and I got divorced because the struggle, it was like war. Until the law got changed, it was like war. Everybody was being terrorized if the police turned on their lights behind their car. That was domestic terrorism and innocent people. And so we divorced. The struggle was too hard to last. And John married a lady named Patricia Brown. She's still his wife, and they have stepchildren. And I just want to mention that John had a long extended family, and that I'm his wonderful survivors. Thank you very much.
John Sinclair himself said that Lenny did everything he did except for have to go to jail. So she hasn't been given the recognition that she really just has been deserving over the years. Let's please let her know how we feel about Lenny Sinclair.